Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Big Data MBA video educational series. This episode 5, is going to cover the digital transformation value creation mapping. This is the heart of data monetization. And as I looked for an infographic to use and go through this exercise, I realized that the infographic I had was a bit dated. It didn't reflect some of the most current learning we've had over the last year. And so instead of reviewing this infographic like I would typically do, instead I'm going to walk you through a series of slides that eventually I'll turn into an infographic. But for now, I want to deliver the key point. Again, the key point here is a digital transformation value mapping, right? Is the heart of how we drive data monetization. But before we get into the digital transformation value creation mapping, let's talk about a problem. That there is a big confusion between what is digitalization and what is digital transformation. Digitalization is taking or replacing or enhancing human-centric operations with digital capabilities. For example, to take a temperature, you used to have to stick a thermometer in your mouth. Well, we've seen that's now replaced when you walk into a store or the hospital or someplace. They now have a gun that they can take and they can shoot. And the advantage of this is that it's quicker and it's much more reliable. The data that comes off is much more accurate. And trying to guess what the thermometer might have said, I can get an exact reading down to a decimal point very easily using a digital device. But we can even go one step further. Why have a human having to deliver that thing? Why don't we have, some sort of a cap we wear or a device we put on our hands or arm that tells us our temperature all the time? So that is the digitalization process of taking something that today is very analog and human-centric and either augmenting, enhancing, or replacing the human aspect with digital technologies. But that's not digital transformation. Digital transformation, yes, builds on all that data, but it is actually taking that data and the insights about your customer's product and operations and actually reinventing your business model. Now, the digital transformation value creation map is actually comprised of 4 steps. There's a framework here. And if you want to drive data monetization, just follow this 4-step framework. Step 1 is you have to first identify the sources of value creation. This is a customer-centric activity that combines a lot of design thinking techniques, such as customer journey maps or service design maps, with some economic mapping to understand along that customer journey, where is value created and what are the impediments to value. Now, some hints here. The customer journey starts well before they ever engage with your product and service and extends well after they engage with your product or service. So understand the totality of that if you want to understand the complete opportunity from a value perspective. Also, the impediments to value creation also provides opportunities. In many cases, you can actually monetize the impediments if you think about those impediments and actually providing solutions for that. So step 1 is you need to identify the sources of value creation and heavily recommend customer journey maps and service designs as a way to actually identify both the sources of value creation and the impediments to value creation. Step 2 is once you've identified the source of value creation, now comes data science. Now comes AI and ML to actually codify those sources of value creation, to create propensity models and recommendation engines, right? That actually we're going to now turn those sources of value creation into math so that we can actually take action on them. And once we codify them, once we put it into math so we can scale it, then we can actually put them into our operational systems. So now we can act on it. So whether it's your procurement systems, your customer engagement systems, your Salesforce automation or ERP systems, whatever it might be, the insights that you've now gained, the propensities, the tendencies, the relationships, the patterns that you've codified, using that step 2 in the codified data science process, I can now stick them into my operational systems to actually start driving new value, to take advantage of the customer product and operational propensities and insights I have to make each of my value creation steps much more effective. And step 4, the step that's been missed in the previous infographic, is creating a culture, an environment of continuous learning and adapting. So you have an environment where once you've made decisions, once you've taken action, once your AI and ML models make recommendations, you want to measure their effectiveness. So you're continuously learning. Think autonomous. Think about the autonomous vehicles and how they're continuous learning. But it isn't just things that you can create autonomous around. You can create autonomous process and policies as well. So this is the digital transformation value creation mapping. right? We'll have an infographic on this at some point in time, but for now you need to settle for just this slide. And there's 4 steps. Again, 4 steps. Identify the source of the value creation, codify them so you can operationalize them, and create a culture of continuous learning and adaptation. That, my friends, is the heart of data monetization.